Hi, folks. Welcome. I am back in Colorado after being with my mom and helping her pack for her move last week. And I fell off a little bit of the social media bandwagon. And I did not come live quite as much as I wanted to. So I'm continuing my kind of my process and sharing some of the things that have been really important for me to discover in the sales process and discovery calls. And so today I want to talk to you about the number one thing that if you can figure out when you're talking to your client, you will 10x them wanting to work with you. And it's actually not that difficult. It's something that a lot of us are not taught to look at. Um, so if you're here at any point in a replay live, say hi to me. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to go and make sure that I am live. Um, I just got a notice from StreamYard that says Facebook's having issues. So hopefully, we will have good luck with the Facebook gods in some ways. All right, I am live. We will see what that looks like. Okay, so let me introduce myself. For you, those of you who don't know me, my name is Ilsa Kamtiader. I essentially call myself a soulful success coach. I help soulful entrepreneurs, healers, coaches who feel overwhelmed, who feel stuck, to essentially create a really compelling offer and figure out their unique and sacred path to more clients, more money, and a lot more ease so that they can have the ultimate freedom and impact that they want to have in the world. And if at any point you hear something in this live that resonates with you, hey Maria, hey Magdalena, if at any point you hear something in this live that resonates with you, then just put hashtag brainstorm in the comments or send me a message on Messenger. I would love to get on free call with you. I do those Soulful Success Breakthrough Call. It's a full hour of you and I working together to figure out exactly where you're at in your entrepreneurial journey, where you might be getting in your way, and what needs to shift to essentially get you the breakthrough you want in terms of really sharing your light and sharing your brilliance with clients. And the one thing I can guarantee you is that you will walk away from that call with quite a few things to work on and a lot more clarity and a lot more confidence to move forward. So I want to start this. With a story. So I have this client that comes in on a free Soulful Success call with me. And I'm going to call her Maggie. She's an energy healer. She does emotion code. And she comes in and she's saying to me, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Nothing's working. I'm not getting clients. I'm not getting anywhere. And she's starting to get really frustrated. And she comes to me to figure out, and she's actually working with someone else at the time that she came to me. She's wanting to figure out what's going on with her and what's happening. And so I worked with her. And this is the thing I want you to keep in mind. When a client comes in to work with you, there's usually two things happening in their periphery. There is there's a hidden problem, and that's the thing I'm going to talk about, is how to discover the inner problem. And oftentimes it can be an inner problem that's literally physically out there, but it also can be an inner problem that's internally. And then the flip side of that is what motivates people to want to work with you, what motivates people to want to get started, to be willing to invest both their time, their energy, and their money, is the hidden motivator. So all of us, for example, if you're listening to this live, it's because you have a business, you want to grow your business. That is the surface motivator. We all have it. We want to grow our business. We want to impact people. We want to have all sorts of things. But why do we want that? We want that for a reason. So when you're getting on a call with someone, you want to look for the underlying reasons behind both their problem and their goals or their big desires. If you can actually get to that, you will open doors for yourself because everybody else will have worked with these people on the surface rather than really seeing what's underneath. And when we can really tap into what's underneath with people, we are connecting to their soul. We are connecting to what's super alive for them. And at that point, they feel seen, they feel met, they feel taken care of, they feel like we care. So I'm talking to this client, Maggie, and we're going about it, and she's describing her offer. And then suddenly it hits me like, as she's talking about her offer, I'm not seeing any light. I was like, how did you pick this niche? And she starts telling me that the way she picked this niche was because that's what her coach told her to pick. She's had a couple success with this niche. And essentially, what happened is she went into this coaching program, told her coach that she had had some success helping people with insomnia. And her coach said to her that that's what she needed to focus on and to essentially everything, all her marketing had to be about insomnia. And I said to her, the reason you're getting nowhere is because you don't love your offer. You don't want to talk about insomnia. And she was like, you're right, I don't. And I was like, what is it that you want to talk about? What is it that you want to, what lights you up? And her answer then was, I want to talk about trauma and I want to talk about releasing trauma and empowerment. I was like, okay, well, if you actually shift your niche and you start really dialing in exactly your messaging, the words your people are going to use, and how you're going to help them, your marketing will start to have an effect. And so, what I did there is I was able to both actually figure out the hidden problem tangibly. Tangibly is the offer was the wrong offer. That's tangible. And then the inner problem. The inner problem in this is she didn't like her offer. She wasn't lit up. She wasn't passionate about it. And I will tell you, this is a hugely busy, noisy market right now. Since I think it was true before, but since COVID, everyone's gone online. Everyone's so that's a good thing. There's more people online, but there's also a lot more people selling and a lot more people wanting to start businesses. And so it's very busy, it's very noisy, and people um, don't have the standing power to listen. What I have found actually shifts that is passion. If you are passionate about what you're teaching, it's like almost like your passion jumps out and flies into the screen, and people are not listening for content. They're listening because they can feel your energy. Your energy only comes when you are passionate. That is the only thing that will move people is your excitement, your passion being lit up. So if you're doing something that is out of integrity in any ways, meaning your offer's out of integrity, your pricing is out of integrity, the way you work with people is out of integrity, and you're not lit up in some way, even the kind of marketing you do, if you're doing anything that is out of integrity, you will get in your own way in terms of reaching people and having the impact that you want to have and you can have. So when you're working with someone, you want to listen for the hidden problem and the hidden motivator. When you can figure that out, you will actually be able to close sales, to enroll people, to get them to be excited to work with you with a lot more ease. Partially because they will feel like you get them. So if any of this resonates with you and you want to spend an hour with me, either figuring out your sales process or figuring out what kind of offer is going to really light you up and what you're passionate about so that you can have a real impact on when you're coming online, then put hashtag brainstorm or message me directly and let's get on a free Soulful Success call and figure out what that breakthrough needs to be for you. Okay, let's talk a little more about the content. When we're talking with someone, we've got to figure out what's going to motivate them. Often when people come to us, they're really aware of what's not working or what they want, but on a very surface level. So, for example, somebody comes to you and they're like, their problem is they're exhausted, or their problem is they're not making enough money, or they're not getting the raise that they've worked so hard to get. No matter what they do, nothing's shifting. Or maybe their problem is they're fighting with their partners, that they're not having enough sex, or they're not losing the weight, their health's not getting better. That is the surface problem. That is the thing that's in their face. And oftentimes, the surface problem is actually a symptom of something underneath that's hidden. And that hidden problem could be a lot of things. Like my client Maggie that I was just talking about, that hidden problem could be that you're not, that person's inauthentic. There's a feeling of being inauthentic, a feeling of being out of alignment. Another issue, another thing could be they're afraid to miss their child growing up. So I will tell you a personal thing of mine. For a long time, when I was struggling, I felt like I was doing all the right things. And then I had this very astute coach on a discovery call say to me, what's the worst that could happen if you actually succeeded? And the first answer I got that came, and it was real, it was like, I'll be overwhelmed and I'll have to give up my freedom. And she looked at me and she's like, that's why you're not making sales, because something in you doesn't want them. Something in you is afraid that you will have to give up something that is extremely important to actually create the growth that you want to see, create the impact that you want to see. And it was like a light bulb went off into my mind, and I realized that she was absolutely right. There was part of me that said, for me to really have an impact, for me to really make a really decent money, I'm going to have to give up my life. I'm going to have to give up all this extra time. I'm going to have to do all these things I don't want to do. And I was sabotaging myself. Well, you can bet that when I had that conversation with her and I felt like she really got me and she got what was underneath me, she didn't even have to pitch me. I was like, how do I work with you? You totally got me. So that's the hidden problem. My surface problem was nothing I do is working. My hidden problem was I'm afraid I'm going to have to give up something very important to me if it starts to work. And so I was getting in my own way. So the hidden problem can be somebody's feeling inauthentic. They're not passionate about what they're trying to do. They're feeling out of integrity. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of success. In my book, I think I was afraid of success more than of failure. They're afraid of disappointing family members. I had a client I worked with who something was going on with her, and I asked her, I said, something similar to what that coach said to me, if you succeed, who's going to look like, what relationship is going to suffer? And she's looked at me and she said, you know what, if I succeed, I don't know how my husband's going to react. I don't know. He's so used to being the one who makes the money in our home, and I think that's important to him. I'm afraid that it's going to really affect my marriage. And I was like, well, then that makes sense that you would be holding yourself back, because who wants to succeed in business only to have our marriage fall apart? No one. So you want to pay attention through interesting questions and just through intuition. As a soulful entrepreneur, what is the hidden thing that's actually really keeping your client stuck? If you can touch on that, you have a client for life, because they will feel so seen and so met. Now I'm going to shift a little bit. I'm going to shift on the hidden motivator. When you're talking to a client during a discovery call, usually the way the discovery call works, there's stages. And one of the stages, you talk about the problem. And then another stage is you get to sense, what is it that the client really wants? And oftentimes we don't go deep enough with that, where we talk only about what that's going to look like on the surface, what that would look. And that's important. We want to know what that looks like tangibly for people. But what you really want to get to is, if they actually were able to have that thing they want, what would happen for them? What would become possible for them? How would they feel about themselves? How would that impact their health, their marriage, their finances, their life, their family, the legacy they want to create. You want to get a sense of what's the hidden emotional motivator underneath their goal. Because people, and this, if you remember nothing else from this live, this is the one thing to remember. People buy, people move forward because of feelings. Feelings are always the hidden motivator. If you can tap into the feelings, what do they want to feel? What do they want to have because of that? How would that make them feel about themselves, about their lives? You will get your people and they will be interested in moving forward. If you can tap into their feelings, you know, there's, I think it's a French saying, some of those French philosopher that says, you know, the heart as its reason that reason cannot understand. We've all had the experience of feeling like maybe something was too expensive or something didn't make quite a whole lot of sense for us. And yet in our gut, in our heart, we knew that that's what we wanted to do. That comes from feeling. Feeling is always much more powerful than reason. And we can always talk ourselves out in reason. But when the feeling is strong enough, when we really feel met, we really feel connected, we really feel gotten, then it's hard to actually talk ourselves out of something because it just feels so important. So you want to look at the hidden problem, but you also want to look at the hidden motivator. What is the one, two, three emotions, feelings that are going to motivate your client? What is it they want? Do they want to feel secure? Do they want to feel energized? Do they want to feel confident? What is it that they're going to get when they achieve the dream that they're here talking to you about? And when you can tap that and you can weave it in your conversation with them, you can share what is in their way, the thinking pattern, the feeling that has actually kept them stuck, and you can move and share with them how you will help them get the feeling that they want and the tangible ways you will help them get there. Then the chance, you know, for me, when I work with clients, I say this a lot in the discovery call. Half the time people don't wait for me to start asking them if they want to work with me. They just say, oh my God, this was so helpful. I've gone more in 45 minutes, an hour with you that I've gone in months with someone else. How do you, like, what's your rate? How do how do you work with people? How can we continue doing this? So in some ways, when you're really able to tap and meet your client where they're at and tap what's hidden and what's underneath, in some ways you you have done the sale or three-quarters of the work already. So, keep in mind that people want to be gotten, people want to be met. That's your number one. People want to feel cared for. That's your number one thing. So that's the thing I have to share with you too. The number one thing that closes sales is what's underneath, is the feeling, the motivator, what they're really afraid of, why they're really stuck. If you can tap that, then you have a client and you have a client for life. If any of this resonated with you and you would like help in designing your own unique sacred path and plan and strategies to more clients, more money, a lot more ease, without hustle, without struggle, without any of this stuff that none of us want, then let's get on a free Soulful Success Breakthrough call. Just put hashtag brainstorm in the comment or message me directly on Messenger, and we'll brainstorm. We'll figure out what's actually getting in your way and what are the few things that you can do to get you moving and get you shifting in creating this passion-filled, purpose-filled business. I'm going to look at comments and see. And if you're still here by the end and you haven't said hi to me, make sure you do. And I don't see any questions particularly. Thank you for being here with me. If you have questions, put them in the chat. I'll go back and look at the chat in the future and answer any questions if you're stuck anywheres. But just keep in mind, number one secret: people buy from a place of feeling, not the bullet points. Even the results, when we're selling a result, this is what I'll help you achieve. We want to tap into the feeling. Why is that important? Why do they want that? If you can do that, then you're going to make that process of people wanting to work with you significantly easier on you. And you're going to, essentially give them an opportunity to do something that they haven't been able to do with anybody else. The thing I want you to keep in mind is when somebody gets on a call with you, it's because no one else has been able to help them. They would not get on a call with you if they didn't have something they wanted support with. So when somebody gets on a call with you, you can assume that you have something to offer them. And your role essentially is to figure out what that is and to put it in such a way that it makes it easier for them to say yes and move forward. This moving forward, saying yes is scary. Our job is to show our clients that we're there for them, that we get them and we can support them, and also to make it as easy for them as possible to move forward. All right, guys, I will be back online probably Wednesday, and I'm going to talk about some of the powerful questions that we can ask in a discovery call to really get our clients to have some breakthroughs and be interested in working with us, and also some questions we can ask ourselves, because in the end, we only want to work with people who are going to get results and who are going to be a great fit for us. All right. Have a wonderful beginning of your week. Have a wonderful week. Bye.